Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible study. Today, and maybe another couple more days, we are going to study Solomon's life. And the first part is about wisdom, and I entitle it Ask for Wisdom. All right, let's get in. So, first, we start, and Solomon asked for wisdom. Solomon made an alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and married his daughter. So, to know who Solomon is, we have to go a little bit, rewind a family of Solomon. Solomon came from his father David, and his mom was Bathsheba. So, the first child David had with Bathsheba was illegal because she was still married to her husband, and that child died. Then he had Solomon. After his father died, Solomon took over as a king. And being enthroned, he wanted to make alliance with Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and he married his daughter. Now, we know that in Egypt were lots of gods, like not God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but lots of other figurines and all kinds of cows and all kinds of gods they had, and they worshiped them. And it's how Moses had hard time to get these people that worship other gods in so many years to get them to the Holy Land. Now, Solomon grew up in David's house since he was a child, since he born. So he knew what David had rituals and everything for God, his daily routine, how he fought for Israel. So he knew all. He saw his father eager to be in the presence of the Lord. When David wrote all these psalms, and Solomon became a man of God. David was after God's heart, but Solomon was loved by God because his heart and inclination was to serve God. Now, I know the make an alliance with Pharaoh in Egypt may not be from God. I'm not sure why he could get any of other women in his culture as ordained by God. Now, he brought her to the city of David until he finished building his palace and the temple of the Lord. So, whereas in the old part, like the city of David was when people would come and worship God, it was a different atmosphere. But he brought this, as it was his wife from Egypt in that place, while he was building his own palace and temple for the Lord and the wall around Jerusalem. All right, then it says next, the people, however, were still sacrificing at the high places because the temple had not yet been built for the name of the Lord. So in the time of David, Solomon's father, David wanted to build a temple for God, but because God said his hands were with blood from killing so many enemies, he will let his descendants, which fell on Solomon, that he will put on the throne, that one will build him a temple. So it's Solomon, he's going to build a temple. So Solomon showed, verse 3, Solomon showed his love for the Lord by walking according to the instructions given by his father David. And except that he offered sacrifices and burned incense on the high places. And someone decided to build a temple. Look at the temple, it's so sophisticated. It's not just, build a building like here. They build a building in a couple of months or so. It took 7 years to build that temple. And he got wooden doors with gold, overlaid with gold, hollow bronze pillars on north called boas, bronze for burnt offering there. There's like 10 bronze wheeled stand with basin of water, to rinse off ashes from burnt offerings. Everything like is a bronze, like a expensive gold table. Everything is made of gold, wooden doors like with gold, windows, you name it. Everything was bronze, like very expensive, made very detailed. Okay, let's go next. The king went, which is Solomon, to Gibeon to offer sacrifices, for that was the most important high place. And Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon during the night in a dream, and God said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Wow. God saw his heart, a tender heart, willing to do God's will, and ask what he wants God to do for him, for Solomon, since he became a king. That's nice, isn't it? I know people will, first what it comes to people's mind, money, wealth, whenever, prosperity is what it comes in people's mind. But look what Solomon answered. Solomon answered, "You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart." And that's true. That's who David was. You have continued this great kindness to him and have given him a son to sit on his throne this very day. So he's telling God that because of his father and what God pleased, what his father did, David, then he's showing him kindness to him as a descendant from David. We continued. "Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David." So he is saying that he is a servant of God, that God put him a king, made him a king in the place of his father David. So what it means, he is very humble. He's humble. He say you made your servant. So servants are like on the lower rank, right? But you made your servant a king to replace his father David, in the place where his father David was. Now look next. "But I'm only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties." Wow. So he say he's only a child and he doesn't know how to deal. Imagine that you're very young. How are you going to, like, all these people are coming and they're waiting for you for answers, how to deal with things, how they will do. When a king was placed on the throne, he's also judge. is not just a king, he's a judge. Not like here we have judge as in the court, and king or president is in, they do different duties. And in that time a king will do judge duties. So he had to rule from his throne what is going to be done, and arguments, you name it, all kinds of things. He will be all day long just listening to people, what they have to say, take all these and solve problems. Now, next, your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. Wow. So what he's asking, he didn't say, God, give me treasures, wealth. He has from David, that what was David's, it became, like he seems a king, he has. So he didn't even think about that. He was saying, give your servant a discerning heart. Discerning heart, you're going to discern people, like in the hearts of people. Whenever they talk, if they are liars, they are saying bad things, or they are pure of heart, he asked God that he will be, to give him that gift of discernment, to discern the bad, the right and wrong, distinguish as he governs. It says, as to govern your people, which is God's people, to govern people in Israel, to distinguish between right and wrong. That's very important. Wisdom is necessary. As we grow and we get older, we build wisdom. But when you are a little child, you don't know what's the right from wrong, what to do, which way to go, how to deal with things, because young people, they can't. I know, there's my phone is ringing. So, for who is able to govern these great people of yours? Discerning is very important. When you have wisdom, it's God's wisdom that gives it to you. So you have like a gift of wisdom. You're able, like when you see like a person and you start talking to the person, what's their character, is revealing inside you. You already know who that person is. But it comes with years as you get older, so you will know. But when you're a little one, you don't know. That's why teenagers, they go for the loved ones. As soon as they hit their eyes, they put eyes on a girl or a boy whenever they want to, and just a boy puts the eyes on the girl because the eyes hits that and they see is looking good. They don't look into the character. But just say a 15 years old, but then they are like maybe 4 years old, the same person, when hits the eyes, maybe is not going to make the same mistake. We're going to see into the character first in order to choose his friend. Okay, so that's wisdom. You will read through the person and you see who the person is before you go and eat lunch with the person. So you know it. And we are not perfect, but it's good to distinguish from the bad to the good and not get trapped in the bad side. All right. The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. So God said to him, so this was all a dream, but God talks to us through dreams. So God said to him, since you have asked for this and not for long life or wealth for yourself. So people will ask for a long life, wealth, nor have asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice, I will do what you have asked. It's nothing too little to God when He's coming to do things for us. If He's asking you today what you want God to do for you, what will be your answer? Do you have an answer? And what do you want God to do for you today? So sometimes, and most of the time, I say, God will ask me time to time what He wanted me, what do I want Him to do for me? And I guess for me, it's to fulfill my destiny. If I do fulfill my destiny, I'll be happy. That's what I came for. So, whenever it takes. All right. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will be never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. So God says He's going to give him a wise and discerning heart, that before and after him, nobody will be just like that. So wisdom and discerning heart together, wow. It's that powerful. As soon as the person walks in and start opening their mouth, he already knows who is who and what to do, how to deal with them. That's what we want. We want that. Wise, like wisdom and discernment of heart together. So ask for wisdom and discerning, and to have a discerning heart. Ask God, He will give it to you. But I hope you know how to use it and what to do. Now, verse 13, moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for. So He's going to give more on the top. Then that's God. You ask for something and He's going to fill you up with other things that comes like a bonus. Moreover, I will give you for what you have not asked, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have not equal amount kings. It could be after him, will be other kings that will have wealth and honor. Honor, that people will honor him, and he will have wealth. And then guess what? When God promises and God gives you, He will, it's like the wealth and will never stop. Will just pour down, because He was sincere. His heart was to help God's people in Israel, how to lead them and what to do. He didn't even think about wealth and all that. And God liked that. Verse 14, and if you walk in obedience to me and keep my decrees and commands, as David your father did, I will give you a long life. So on the top of that, if Solomon will keep God's decree and commandments as David did, he will have also a long life. So, wow. So what he's going to get from just one dream, from just one question I got asked, he's going to get wisdom with a discerning heart, wealth and honor, and a long life. 5 things. He asked for discerning heart, but he got 5 things with that. Wow, that's God. That's God. Then remember, it was a dream. Then Solomon awoke and he realized it has been a dream. But because it's so vivid, and so different than other dreams, you know God just talked to you. You just know it, you know it. Nobody can tell that it was just a dream. It was just a pizza dream. Don't worry about it. Nothing like that will come in place. But it was when God talks, you know it. So he returned to Jerusalem, stood before the ark of Lord's covenant, and sacrificed burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. Then he gave a feast for all his court. So he offered sacrifices after he returned back to Jerusalem. Wow. So, oh, that's next one. Okay. Wow. So what we're going to ask, if God asks you, what, just say it, God is asking you today, what do you want God to do? God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, what do you want God to do for you today? What will be your answer? Just think about it and answer God. What do you want? I know we have some people, they have a long list from top to the bottom. This is what I want. Do these, you know. So, and also remember that God pointed that Solomon didn't even ask to have death of his enemies, but in his life he didn't have to fight like David did. David was like from the war to another one to fight the enemies. He didn't have to. In his life was different. It was more peace. It was different. But because his father already set up the tone for his descendants to be peace after. So I hope you enjoyed this Bible study as much as I enjoy it. Till next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.